What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So first and foremost, I want to thank everybody for the well wishes they sent me. I'm good now. I'm back home now. With that said, let's get to this boxing news. So it looks like undefeated two-time WBC super middleweight world champion Mexican superstar boxer David Benavidez, 25 wins, no losses, no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout. He is 25 years of age, 6'1" with a 75-inch arm reach. He's going into a WBC World Boxing Council interim mandatory showdown with David Lemieux. Looks like that's going to take place in May, sometime in May. With that said, he has now entered negotiations to face off against former IBF super middleweight world champion superstar boxer Caleb Sweethand Plant. Okay, Caleb Plant is 21 wins, 1 loss, no draws, 12 wins by way of knockout. He himself was knocked out. Caleb Plant is 29 years of age, 6'1" with a 74-inch arm reach. Last time we saw him in the ring was November when he took on 4-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer, who is currently now the super middleweight undisputed world champion and widely considered the face of the sport of boxing, is Saul Canelo Alvarez, in which Canelo Alvarez, he got an 11th round knockout victory over Caleb Plant. Okay, so now it looks like David Benavidez is going to go into negotiations. Well, he has entered deep negotiations, according to reports and sources, to fight Caleb Plant in his next fight. Well, this is pretty ironic because there was a lot of talk that David Benavidez could face off against undefeated 2-division world champion superstar boxer Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, who is making his debut at super middleweight. Demetrius Andrade, 31 wins, no losses, no draws, 19 wins by way of knockout. He is 34 years of age, 6 feet tall with a 74-inch arm reach. He's going to face off against Zach Parker, who is undefeated for the WBO mandatory interim super middleweight position, just like David Benavidez is going to go in against David Lemieux. So with that said, it was a lot of talks that David Benavidez could go into a fight with Demetrius Andrade next. He stated that that's the fight he wanted. Andrade stated that that's the fight he wanted. It would be a massive fight at super middleweight. But now, like his promoter and his manager, Samson Likowicz, stated that they weren't interested in facing off against Demetrius Andrade. Okay, they stated that Samson stated that Demetrius Andrade only cares about winning. Demetrius Andrade doesn't care about how he looks and selling tickets. He's only concerned with winning fights, and he don't care how he wins the fights. He don't bring anything to the table. He's not exciting, and all he does is run around the ring. This came after David Benavidez claimed that he wanted to fight with Demetrius Andrade because he knew he would knock out Demetrius Andrade, and it's a big fight for him. So now he has since changed his tune because of his managers, and now he's going into a fight with Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant has been knocked out in his last fight. He has not been seen in the ring since he's been knocked out by Canelo Alvarez. Why not go into a fight with Demetrius Andrade, who is an undefeated 2-division world champion and is going to be the WBO mandatory super middleweight challenger for Canelo Alvarez as well? This is what Canelo Alvarez was talking about when he said that these guys are simply not fighting each other. I see no reason. Now, this was a fight. It's ironic because this was a fight that the world wanted to see. This was the biggest fight at super middleweight at one point in time when they both were champions. And Samson Likowicz, he stated that David Benavidez wasn't ready, okay, when Caleb Plant was calling him out, okay? And this is on record, okay? So they didn't want to unify the belts when Caleb Plant was undefeated, and there was a storyline and there was a lot of chatter and a lot of going back and forth then. Well, now they're looking to make the fight as he's coming off of a knockout loss. So this makes David Benavidez look like he's looking to travel the path of least resistance. He's not trying to fight the absolute best there is to offer, okay? David Benavidez himself looks like he wants to have all these fights. He's talking like he wants all these fights. He's calling out fighters like two-division undefeated world champion, superstar boxer Jamal Lyons Only Charlo. But now David Benavidez is negotiating a fight with Caleb Plant. Now, I understand that there's history there. I understand there's a storyline there. But Caleb Plant has lost his title now. Caleb Plant is coming off of a knockout loss to Canelo Alvarez. And Caleb Plant has not been seen in the ring since then. So why now would you want to negotiate and fight Caleb Plant when you didn't want to fight Caleb Plant, when Caleb Plant was a champion and undefeated, when this was the biggest fight in the division? Before Canelo Alvarez decided to settle in at super middleweight, this was the biggest fight at super middleweight. Now Demetrius Andrade has barked up the tree. Demetrius Andrade is a southpaw, slick. He's undefeated. He's a two-division world champion. He hasn't lost yet. He's going into a fight with Zach Parker in his next fight, May 21st. Okay, and more than likely, Demetrius Andrade is going to be victorious against Zach Parker. And so you choose Caleb Plant coming off of a loss over fighting Demetrius Andrade, okay, who could be coming off of a victory over another undefeated fighter. Zach Parker's 22 wins, no losses, no draws, 16 wins by way of knockout, 27 years of age, 6 foot tall with a 74-inch arm reach. He's undefeated. You're going to face off against David Lemieux, okay? So David Lemieux is not relevant, okay? David Lemieux, yes, he's on a winning streak as of late, but David Lemieux, 43 wins, 4 losses, no draws, 36 wins by way of knockout. Twice in his career, he was already knocked out. 33 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 70-inch arm reach, okay? Yes, he's on a 5-fight win streak since he lost to Billy Joe Saunders badly, okay? So the last time we saw him in a big, meaningful fight was against Billy Joe Saunders, and he badly lost, okay? So you're going to face off against a 33-year-old who's been knocked out with 4 losses. Then you're going to fight immediately after that Caleb Plant, who's coming off of a knockout loss himself, opposed to fighting Demetrius Andrade. This because Samson Likowicz, as I stated, he's on record saying that they have no interest and he wants to protect his vested interests, okay? He stated that, Demetrius Andrade is a very good fighter, okay? He's an excellent fighter. But at the same time, he downplays Demetrius Andrade, stating that Demetrius Andrade doesn't care about selling tickets, and Demetrius Andrade only cares about winning fights. What else is there to care about? And then he states that it doesn't matter how Demetrius Andrade chooses to win fights as long as he wins fights. So it sounds like to me, stylistically, you don't like the fact that Demetrius Andrade is a slick, big southpaw that has power and a high ring IQ and is athletic and mobile. And you don't trust that your fighter, David Benavidez, who's a come forward pressure fighter, okay, that throws punches and bunches, okay, you don't believe and trust that he could be victorious. And this is what I stated, that David Benavidez, he's on record saying that he would knock out Demetrius Andrade, he would knock out Jamal Charlo. Well, your promoter, your manager, Samson Likowicz, is saying the opposite and saying that Demetrius Andrade is not a good fight and that fight will never happen. And so it looks like that fight will never happen. So now, conveniently, it looks like to the fans that you want to fight Caleb Plant coming off of a knockout loss, opposed to fighting an undefeated two-division world champion. You're not looking to fight the absolute best there is to offer. You're not looking for the biggest challenges there is to offer. Now, Caleb Plant and David Benavidez is still a good fight in my eyes. That's still a fight I love to see. Caleb Plant is still a very slick boxer who's mobile. At one point in time, I thought that he had the style to beat David Benavidez, because David Benavidez lacks big on the defense department. But Caleb Plant has shown to have stamina issues in the second half of fights. He was winning the fight against Canelo Alvarez. He faded in the second half. He was winning the fight against Uzcategui. He started to fade in the second half of that fight. Even the fight with, his mandatory, he was winning that fight, and he started to fade in the second half of that fight, okay, against Caleb Truitt. So with that said, he needs to get back in the win column. If you're David Benavidez, you should be looking to fight a guy coming off of a win, a big win, right? Yes, Caleb Plant fought Canelo Alvarez, but that's the biggest fight in his career, and the biggest win is Jose Uzcategui. You should be looking to fight Demetrius Andrade and making a statement, Not fighting a guy coming off a loss. You should be wanting Caleb Plant to be coming off of a win and at his absolute best. We don't even know what version of Caleb Plant we're going to get moving forward. So now they're in negotiations, and David Benavidez says that he hopes that Caleb Plant don't pull out the fight. It should be no fight. You should be looking to negotiate with Demetrius Andrade. You should be telling your promoter, Samson Likowicz, you want to fight the absolute best and you want to fight Demetrius Andrade. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Back at y'all with another one. Y'all already know what it is, man. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.